You're questioning, but what if what you're feeling is more than just new mom stress? If you've been feeling off, overwhelmed, or not like yourself and wondering if it's actually postpartum depression, how do you know for sure? In this episode, we're walking through the top 5 most common symptoms of PPD and what to do next if you recognize yourself in any of them, so you can move from confusion into clarity and support. Do you want practical steps to rein in the overwhelm and start feeling like yourself again, but struggle with feeling hopeless, unsupported, and misunderstood? If so, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Stephanie, wife, mom of 4, and a 2-time acute postpartum depression survivor. I learned the secrets of how to overcome the feeling of drowning and fully thrive as a new mom through life-giving hope and support. If you're ready for validation, encouragement, and those easy practical tips, then take a deep breath in, exhale, and we'll take the first steps together. Here we go. Did you know that I have a free community of mamas just like you? New moms who are struggling to survive, much less thrive, and are looking for hope, encouragement, and validation. We share life together. There's a short weekly devotion, encouraging quotes, and so much more. There's even chances to win free coffee and prizes. Come join us at bit.ly/PPD support group. I remember sitting at the foot of Hadley's bed in my girls' room during nap time, folding tiny piles of laundry. Everything looked normal. The house was quiet, the babies were sleeping, nothing seemed wrong or out of ordinary, and yet I felt this overwhelming sense of doom. Not worry, not stress, doom. Like something terrible was about to happen. My chest felt tight, my stomach was in knots, and the spiraling, racing thoughts were back, and I couldn't explain why. I had kept trying to push through it. Maybe I just needed more sleep. Maybe I needed to be more grateful. Maybe this was just how motherhood was going to be for me and what it was going to feel like. But the thoughts and feelings wouldn't leave, and it got to the point that the passing thought of harming myself played in my head again. Finally, I picked up the phone and called the number my OBGYN had given me when I shared my concerns of PPD happening again this time around. The person on the other end of the line didn't know me, and certainly didn't know my story. But I knew, and I knew that PPD was back in full force. I remember saying something really quickly, like, I don't know how to explain this, but I feel like something awful is about to happen all the time, and I'm having thoughts of harming myself. It was easier for me just to spit it out all at once, and saying it out loud felt terrifying. Telling the woman on the other end of the phone ultimately ended in me being hospitalized in a psychiatric unit, and that itself did not go well at all. But looking back, despite the downward spiral that happened afterwards, it was also the moment everything started to change. Because once I spoke the words, I couldn't pretend it was just normal new mom stress anymore. It was the first time I had admitted that I was experiencing postpartum depression again, and that things had gotten out of hand. And sometimes healing begins with something as simple and as brave as telling someone the truth. Now let's jump into today's teaching about the top 5 postpartum depression symptoms and what to do if you have any of them. Number 1, persistent sadness that feels heavier than baby blues. One of the most common signs of postpartum depression is a sadness that just doesn't seem to lift. I'm not just talking about emotional moments or tears from exhaustion, which are very real, but a deeper heaviness that lingers. So you may feel like you're crying often and not always know why, or a constant sense of emptiness or hopelessness. Feeling emotionally numb is a big indicator, and like joy feels far away, even during moments that quote-unquote should feel happy. Many moms assume this is just normal adjustment, but when sadness feels constant and starts affecting daily life, it deserves attention. Maybe you're holding your baby. Everyone around you says this should be the happiest season of your life, and yet you feel disconnected, heavy, and quietly overwhelmed. So you start wondering, why don't I feel happier? What's wrong with me? And mama, the answer may not be failure. It may be postpartum depression. So what can help is start by naming it honestly. This feels bigger than exhaustion. And that awareness matters. Then, and most importantly, tell someone. Tell your doctor. Tell your partner, tell a trusted friend, tell a therapist. I told all of them, and it ended up becoming one big team that supported me and helped me through my darkest moments. Because mama, sadness grows in silence. Support begins when you speak it out loud. Then, constant anxiety or racing thoughts. Postpartum depression doesn't always look like sadness. For many moms, it looks like anxiety. You may feel constant worry that you can't turn off, racing thoughts at night, fear that something bad will happen, trouble relaxing even when things are okay, or a sense of panic over everyday situations. Your brain gets stuck in protection mode. It's trying to keep everyone safe, but it becomes so exhausting. So maybe your baby finally falls asleep, but instead of resting, your mind starts spiraling. Are they breathing? What if I miss something? What if I'm doing everything wrong? Even peaceful moments feel tense. And I'm not talking about the occasional, I'm a new mom and I'm going to go in my baby's nursery and make sure they're breathing because they only slept an hour yesterday and today they slept an hour and a half. That is perfectly normal. I have done that many times. All of my friends have done that. This is bigger than that. This is that on steroids. So what can help? Ask yourself, is this a real danger or is this anxiety talking? Then ground your body. Take some slow breathing, get some fresh air, put cold water or an ice cube on your wrist, or step outside for 5 quiet minutes. Because anxiety lives in the body first, and calming your body helps calm your mind. Next is rage, irritability, or feeling easily overstimulated. This symptom surprises a lot of moms because no one talks about it enough. Sometimes postpartum depression shows up as anger. So you may notice snapping quickly over small things, feeling touched out or overstimulated, intense frustration that feels hard to control, and guilt after reacting strongly. This doesn't mean you're a bad mom. It often means that your nervous system is just overwhelmed. Exhaustion, hormones, stress, and emotional depletion can all show up as irritability. So maybe your partner asks a simple question like, what do you want for dinner? And suddenly you feel irrationally angry, not because of the question itself, but because your body feels like it has nothing left to give. And then comes the guilt. So what helps? Pause before judging yourself. Try this reframe. This reaction is information, not proof that I'm failing. Ask yourself, am I overstimulated? Am I exhausted? Do I need 5 minutes alone? Sometimes regulation matters more than resolution. Then feeling disconnected from your baby or yourself. Oh, mama, this was a big heartbreaker for me. Another painful symptom is emotional disconnection. You may feel like you're going through the motions, but you're distant from your baby, disconnected from your old self, and emotionally flat or numb. And this often brings shame because moms think bonding should feel instant. That's what the world tells us. But connection doesn't always happen immediately, and that is more common than people realize. Maybe you're feeding, changing, rocking, doing all the right things, but emotionally, you feel distant. You love your baby, but you don't feel the overwhelming connection everyone talks about. And that can feel terrifying. But it does not mean you're broken. What can help is to focus on small moments, not big feelings. So try skin-to-skin contact, eye contact during feedings, talking softly to your baby, and noticing all their little tiny details. For me, it was literally the veins in her eyelids when she shut her eyes and was sucking on her bottle that I just realized she was this amazing little being sent to me from God and intricately and wonderfully made. And it did help me bond in those moments. Bonding often grows quietly through repetition, not one magical moment. And give yourself permission to reconnect with yourself too. And last, extreme fatigue that feels different than normal tiredness. Yes, new moms are a whole new level of tired. But postpartum depression fatigue often feels deeper than sleep deprivation. It can feel like mental fog, physical heaviness, no motivation for basic tasks, feeling drained even after rest, and like everything takes more energy than you have. And this is more than that regular newborn tired, which really isn't regular at all. It feels like depletion. Maybe even simple things like making lunch or folding laundry feel impossible, not because you're lazy, but because your mind and body feel completely maxed out. And when exhaustion becomes emotional too, it can be a sign of PPD. So what helps is to protect your energy instead of fighting it. Ask, what actually matters today? Not what should get done, but what truly matters. Maybe today the answer is simply feed the baby, feed yourself, and rest when possible. And mama, I promise you that is enough, because healing requires energy conservation, not perfection. I need to say that again for myself. Healing requires energy conservation, not perfection. So let's recap. If you have persistent sadness that feels heavier than baby blues, constant anxiety or racing thoughts, rage, irritability, or feeling overstimulated, feeling disconnected from your baby or yourself, extreme fatigue that feels deeper than normal tiredness, please reach out to someone you trust for help. An OBGYN, a trusted therapist, a partner, or a friend is a great place to start. If you recognize any of these symptoms, please hear this. You are not weak. You are not failing, and you are not alone. Postpartum depression can look different for every mom, but no matter how it shows up, it deserves support. And the sooner you recognize signs, the sooner healing can begin. Don't be like me and wait until things get worse. You are allowed to ask for help now, and help does exist. There is hope, and I am living proof of that. Mama, if this episode is triggering for you and you feel you need additional help to process your thoughts or feelings, please call or text the Postpartum Support International Hotline at 1-800-944-4773 or visit them online at postpartum.net.
Hi, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of my mom's show.
If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a mom friend who may be struggling to feel like herself and is in need of some encouragement today?
Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It blesses my mom's heart to know this podcast is helping you.
Okay, time to go change a diaper and do the school run. I'll meet you back in a few days for another episode.
Take care.